What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Big Gucci Max, and today we're back to the dark story behind Lil Durk and King Von's case. If y'all don't know, them niggas, they had a case from back in what 2019 or something like that, and I think Lil Durk just beat it. But let's find out the truth of the case. You know what I'm saying? Let's find out. RP to King Von, and the nigga died and shit. But let's see what they was indicted for, type shit.
On February 5th, 2019, Lil Durk, King Von, and Bezu would get into a verbal altercation with a man in the parking lot of the Varsity, a popular restaurant located in Midtown Atlanta. The man, whose name was Alexander Weatherspoon, was a 23-year-old Vice Lord member and was known on the east side of Chicago for cracking cards and scamming. Witnesses say that the altercation would soon turn violent after 13 shots were fired, hitting Alexander Weatherspoon once in his femoral artery. Weatherspoon would then...
That's by his dick? Is that by his dick or his nuts? If it's here, that gotta be by the nuts, right? Damn, that's gonna shine your dick.
Alexander Weatherspoon once in his femoral artery. Weatherspoon would then stumble across the road before collapsing in front of the One Cigar Lounge, traumatizing late-night customers. Witnesses would then scramble to call 911, while a SUV with 300 plastered on the side would be seen leaving the scene simultaneously.
These niggas are so stupid, bro. If you're gonna shoot a nigga, bro, or even if you run around, why would you put your team logo on your car, bro? Try to, you know what I'm saying? Try to be more conspicuous, more discreet.
Emergency services and law enforcement would quickly arrive at the chaotic scene and immediately transport Alexander Weatherspoon to the Atlanta Medical Center for emergency surgery, while detectives would begin to investigate the crime scene and speak to any possible witnesses. The on-scene investigation would reveal that 13 shell casings were found at the scene, coming from both a pistol and a rifle. A 9mm handgun was also found nearby. This case would then go cold for about 3 months, but on May 4th, 2019, King Von would be tackled and arrested by the Chicago police on charges related to the Varsity shooting back in February 2019. 9 days later, Bezu would also be arrested by the Chicago police.
God damn, man, I'm sweating my ass off, bro. I turned the fan off and shit. I'm gonna put the window up, bro. I just fucking turned the fan off because that shit make mad fucking noise when I'm recording a video, right? That shit make too much noise, so you know the audio come out bad. So I turn that shit off and shit. But even when you turn the AC on, you still hear this shit. It sounds horrible. That's what I do for content, nigga. God damn, I'm dying. I gotta rewatch this. I'm probably sweating my dick off. Holy.
Police with the charge being fugitive from justice, out-of-state warrant. Then on May 29th, 2019, the Atlanta police would issue an arrest warrant for the final suspect in the case, Lil Durk.
Damn.
The warrant would be charging Lil Durk with 5 felonies, a major one being an attempt to murder charge. A charge of that sentence usually carries 10 to 20 years in prison. The same day the arrest warrant was announced, Lil Durk would release a song titled "Turn Myself In," which included several dark lyrics referencing the situation. These lyrics include, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, heard the story, think I'm finished. Free Von, free Zoo, even though they got the same problem. I turned myself in."
That's a fire-ass song, too, I ain't gonna lie. The way he's reading it don't make it sound fire, but if you hear it with the beat and the way Durk flows on that song, top-tier song for sure, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tonight, head down with these cuffs on. Just read my rights. The following day, Lil Durk would meet at his lawyer's office to do an interview with WSB-TV, stating that he had nothing to hide and nothing to run from.
Did you commit the other crimes of which you're accused?
No.
Lil Durk would then proceed.
What type of question? I hate when niggas ask those dumbass questions. We're gonna be like, did you commit the crimes? He's gonna say, yeah, I did. I actually did commit them. Of course he's gonna say no.
To surrender himself to authorities at the Fulton County Jail later that night. King Von, Lil Durk, and Bezu would all remain in custody until further notice. Lil Durk and King Von would finally appear in front of a Fulton County judge where they would go over the charges and briefly discuss the evidence they had for arresting Lil Durk and King Von. An Atlanta Police Department detective by the name of Jeffrey Churchill would take the stand and claim that one of the witnesses he spoke with was a female who was talking with Lil Durk and King Von when the incident took place. She claimed that a fight broke out in the car in front of them and then saw Lil Durk pull out a firearm while shots could be heard. Detective Churchill then told the court that Alexander Weatherspoon also had a firearm with him at the time of the incident, and it is completely possible that Weatherspoon could have fired the first shot. Another interesting piece of evidence brought up in court was the fact that there was allegedly surveillance footage that would show an arm of an individual rumored to be Lil Durk's hanging out the window of a gray and red camo Trackhawk with 300 plastered on the side while firing a firearm.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, towards the victim.
Prosecutors would describe the case as gang-related and even had a Chicago police captain fly all the way down to Atlanta to confirm to the Atlanta courts that Lil Durk and King Von are documented members of the Black Disciples. At the end of the court hearing, it was determined that Lil Durk and King Von were to continue to remain in the Fulton County Jail. 6 days later, at another court hearing, prosecutors would submit a request to Fulton County Judge Kevin Farmer to not give Lil Durk bond and have him remain in custody until further notice.
I'm pretty sure he got bond for that, though. I'm pretty sure he got him and Vaughn. Yeah, they had to, because Vaughn ended up dying after that, and then Durk beat the case.
Judge Kevin Farmer would reject the prosecutor's request, claiming that even though the charges against Lil Durk are serious, he will grant Lil Durk a $250,000 bond due to the fact that he turned himself in and doesn't seem to be dodging any type of arrest as long as he wears an ankle monitor, follows curfew, and stays away from firearms. Later that night, Lil Durk would excitedly go live on Instagram as he is released from jail. King Von would also be released the next day on a $300,000 bond. While out on bond, Lil Durk and King Von were no longer able to speak to each other, and both seemed to move a different type of way after their release. Lil Durk would seem to slow down and focus more on his career. King Von, on the other hand, would continue to live a fast and dangerous lifestyle despite already beating a murder charge back in 2017. This arrest arguably brought the most mainstream attention King Von has ever received at the time.
Nigga, it's crazy too, because right after they both got out, them niggas, their careers went insane. That's what he said, though. Vaughn was more focused on beefing with niggas and running down on niggas, while Durk was just like, let me chill and become one of the biggest rappers in the game. They both did take two different routes. But I'm pretty sure they still spoke to each other, even though they weren't allowed to technically speak to them. I'm pretty sure they spoke to each other still.
Furthermore, skyrocketing his music career and street reputation. King Von was still going back to O Block and hanging out with some of the most dangerous individuals on the streets of Chicago. Only this time, he would hand out large amounts of cash and custom expensive jewelry. This would give off the impression that King Von is funding and rewarding members of the O Block street gang for their work and loyalty. King Von would also start up Get Back Gang Entertainment in an attempt to give top O Block members a rap career in order to increase the gang's notoriety both on a street and mainstream level while monetizing it in the process. A very dark turning point in the story would occur on August 4th, 2020, when King Von's most notorious rival, FBG Duck, was murdered in broad daylight while out shopping at the Gold Coast Luxury Shopping District in Chicago, Illinois.
And the other day too, I was bumping this guy because he just brought up Duck. I was bumping a King Von song. I think it was Crazy Story. I'm gonna say part 3. I think it was that one. And in that one, bro, in that song, bro, he describes how he would how he wanted to kill Duck. Like obviously Duck died a whole different way, but the way he describes that, he's telling a story of how he wanted to catch Duck lacking. He made a whole scenario, but the nigga was legit like I ain't gonna lie. I know people saying the Trap Lord Ross video of him saying he's a serial killer is crazy. There's a lot of people debating like, yo, you shouldn't make an accusation on a nigga name, but there's no charges and shit. But the way that nigga, from the shit we seen, and even just that song alone, I think the nigga might really have been a serial killer, bro. He did goes says he's linking up with this bitch. He makes a whole fake scenario up. Says he's linking up with a girl from the op block and shit. And then he sees her phone is getting blown up, and the messages and the phone calls is from a nigga named Duck. You know what I'm saying? And then the nigga pulls up. He's some big goofy nigga. He trying to look tough. That's Duck's a big nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then he shoots the nigga and kills him, and then takes his bitch. And he tells the bitch like, yo, I'm sorry for killing your nigga. Like, I know you tight or whatever. That probably killed your man. She said, nah. And then he says, nah, fuck that nigga. He from 63rd. So like that nigga, he had a whole plot in his head on how he wanted it to go down. Nigga's insane, bro. Never in my life I think something like that.
Boy. King Von's music made multiple references to
Look.
FBG Duck and the 63rd and St. Lawrence Gang, making both FBG Duck and his block the subject of
I'm really psychic. Like, I ain't gonna lie.
many disrespectful jokes and memes online. The most popular instance of this is in King Von's Took Her to the O.
Oh, took it to
The
that's what it
song
was. Yeah.
describes Vaughn getting confronted by a man rumored to be FBG Duck, and the situation ends up turning violent.
Oh my god, bro. Like, I'm really him. I did get the song name wrong. I ain't gonna lie, but overall, yeah, I know y'all niggas know who it is. But I'm really tapped in with the streets, bro.
Rumors on what exactly happened to FBG Duck would begin spreading online, with the most popular narrative being that King Von and O-Block were responsible for the murder of FBG Duck.
Nah, but he dropped that before Duck died,
really
though.
starting to believe and see with their own eyes that King Von and Lil Durk were possibly the most dangerous men in hip-hop. Then just 9 days later, after the murder of FBG Duck, Lil Durk would arguably have the most important moment in his career take place when he would be featured on Drake's hit song, Laugh Now, Cry Later. The Drake collaboration would bring a whole new massive audience to Lil Durk and his music, sending eager fans down rabbit holes only to discover that Lil Durk and his associates have extremely dark pasts involving lots of violence and even death. Lil Durk and King Von would take all the attention they were getting from both the Drake collaboration and the FBG Duck situation to double down on their savage street reputations, regardless of the fact that the two were both very well aware that they were on bond and being heavily monitored by authorities.
You ain't have your gun for them, you better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Booney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gon' see. You gon' end up by that tree. But I got my gun for Boone, they call him Chief. But we should've killed him sooner, cause he a thief.
Know that we did it.
King Von would even record himself getting off a plane only to be greeted by law enforcement officers with badges.
Two officers trying to search me in the plane. They talk about, let me search your bag out. Let me get y'all ID one more time before I leave.
Take a picture of my badge.
Y'all want to search me for what? Remember, it's space.
It wasn't too long before the ship began to sink. On November 6th, 2020, King Von would get into an altercation with...
That was a downfall right there. Came on, bro. I don't know why the nigga tried to box that nigga that day, bro. Should've just chilled out, bro. Like, the nigga make some great music. He tried to go box that nigga, bro.
Quando Rondo, a rapper with close ties to NBA Youngboy. Another
Shout out
rapper
Youngboy.
which Von had problems
Youngboy
with
song's fire too, though.
scenes. This split-second altercation outside of the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta would abruptly end with Quando Rondo's right-hand man, Lil Tim, fatally shooting King Von. Lil Durk would then release his highly anticipated album, The Voice, a little over a month later, which featured some quite telling lyrics. On the song, Should Have Ducked, a song whose title is already a diss in itself. Durk says, I told my PO through the gate that I get high as f. She asked me how high do I get? I told her high as duck. Durk also says, they asked me where I'm gonna be in 10 years. I said, the feds. These lyrics came off to most fans as Lil Durk somewhat accepting the fact that his one-of-a-kind hip-hop run will ultimately come to an end with him receiving a hefty prison sentence. 7 months after King Von's sudden death, Lil Durk's brother D-Thang would also be shot and killed outside of a nightclub called Club O in Harvey, Illinois. While losing another person so close to you is already a lot to deal with in itself, it must be even more difficult to deal with when a lot of the speculation of why D-Thang was killed in the first place was because rival gang members have a tough time getting to Lil Durk due to his celebrity status, so his enemies just got the next closest thing. A few weeks later, trouble would continue to follow Lil Durk after his Atlanta mansion was broken into.
I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I be thinking about that too. Like, you see like niggas like Young Thug, or even like, who else is another rapper that's like getting a lot of years in jail? One, let me see, Young Thug, Casanova is another one that he just got 17 years. Lil Durk was facing a lot of years, and you know, most likely, God forbid, but he probably will get arrested again, or die, because the shit he's involved in. Like, I be wondering, like, is the money and fame really worth like all that, bro? Like, is having money and fame for like about, let's say, like a temporary time really worth going to jail for like 20 years afterwards? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Oh, but then again, it's not really the hip hop that's making them go to jail. It's just what they do, because they still rappers, but they also want to be like street generals or whatever you call them. You know what I'm saying, like, so I guess I don't know. To me, though, it's not worth it though, nigga. I'd rather make less money and just be free than make more money for a little bit and then go to jail or die. But some niggas just don't value life, I guess. I don't know.
By alleged enemies of Lil Durk. Shots were reportedly fired in the home by Durk's girlfriend, India, but it was rumored that this would just be a cover-up in order to prevent Lil Durk from getting arrested since he was already a felon on bond. The dominoes would proceed to fall, but on a whole nother level this time, because on October 13, 2021, the FBI would raid O Block and arrest 5 members of the street gang for the murder of FBG Duck. The most notable of the 5 arrested was Muwop, King Von's right-hand man. This wouldn't come as a surprise to most drill fans, as there was many pieces of evidence that hinted at O Block being behind the FBG Duck murder. One interesting piece worth mentioning is the fact that King Von gave Muwop his iced-out O Block chain just 11
Yeah, I got that same exact belt. You know what I'm saying?
days after the murder of FBG Duck. King Von would also start shouting out Muwop more than ever on his story and had him in the studio with him at just about all times.
This Muwop, he crazy. He got all type of button ups left.
Muwop was also
That's
one of the most
self-snitching, bro.
fearless out of the group when King Von was shot and even punched Quando Rondo in the head in order to help Von. The federal indictment revealed that they were all being watched prior to the FBG Duck incident, indicating that if King Von were still alive today, he most likely would have been sitting in the same jail as Muwop at this exact moment. So with all of this chaos going on, it left most fans wondering whatever happened to Lil Durk, King Von, and Bezu's case in Atlanta. Well, back in 2021, the victim of the case, Alexander Weatherspoon, would be arrested on federal charges after allegedly stealing multiple identities and using them to fraudulently obtain money in order to purchase various luxurious items. The victim plays a big role in convicting the defendants in a criminal case, so having him in federal custody as well as the chaos that came with 2020 on a global scale most likely slowed down any proceedings of the case. Then on October 24th, 2020, slowed
It's no, this bald ass nigga failed on putting on his mask.
down any proceedings of the case.
Like, bro, how do you miss your fucking ear, you fucking bot? That's what. Like, come on, bro.
Then on October 24th, 2022, it would officially be announced that after over 3 years since the original incident at the Varsity happened, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office would drop all of the charges against Lil Durk and Bezu. The Fulton County District Attorney was not shy in stating that King Von would have been indicted for the incident if he were still alive today, which could potentially indicate that Durk's legal team put all the blame of the shooting on Von since he had passed away.
Smart.
Fans online would be ecstatic at the news, claiming this is great for Lil Durk and that it must be a huge weight lifted off his shoulders. But just because the state dropped the charges doesn't mean that he's fully in the clear. Since the charges were dismissed and the defendants were not found guilty, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for the state to intentionally drop the case if they knew it could be a part of a much, much bigger case. You know, maybe like a RICO. Only time will tell, but many credible individuals with close ties to these situations seem to be hinting at the fact that Lil Durk's problems may have only just begun.
Let me also give a very big warning. I fear that 2023 is the year that Lil Durk may be involved in some legal shit. I believe the feds have set the seeds to try to connect a lot of crime. And I know Lil Durk these days says, yo, these lyrics are just props. He even says in the song, the cops are smarter. They know who he's beefing with. They know where the bodies are being dropped. Lil Durk, I feel like if they hit Durk with some shit, it's gonna be a dub, bro. It's just, they gonna hit him with just everything, bro.
Man, them niggas probably been waiting to hit that nigga with some shit, man. Shout out DJ Academics though. But if you enjoyed it, man, drop a like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the same shit, bro. All these rappers gonna have Ricos and shit, bro. Take a 1090 Jake is exposing all these rappers to snitching. Like, I don't know what the hip hop community has come to, bro. I don't know how niggas can't just rap and just not go to jail. Like, I don't know so hard about that. Like, once you get out the hood, to just stay out. Like, niggas be trying to prove points to a nigga that's broken than them. Doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, I see the dedication, man. I'm sweating my ass off and shit. I'm about to get off this shit, bro. I do this shit for y'all niggas, bro. I don't know if you can see it really much on video, but in real life, nigga, I'm drowning right now, bro, in sweats. I'm about to go take a shower after this video. It's your boy Big Gucci Max, and I'm out.